Anker's newest speakerphone, the Ankerwork S600, is a pretty cool idea. But is it the ideal work-from-home device? We'll review it in depth, test it, and heartfully compare it with a couple of modern Jabra speakers.
Namaste, we are DHRME, dudes heartfully reviewing modern electronics.
Kicking things off with the build and design. You're going to notice the cone-shaped speakerphone. It looks quite classy on a desk and in a bedroom. And it has a solid, hefty build to it. So we don't mind throwing it into a backpack. We think it can take a beating. But there's no case included, and also it's not a very portable form factor as compared to
something like the Jabra Speak2 series that we have. Curiously, Anker is trying to appeal to the work from home situation more than the office with the speakerphone. And maybe that's why it's less portably designed and more pretty looking. Okay, this is a nice addition, a Qi 2 MagSafe charger you can tilt open and you can prop up your phone either vertically or horizontally. You really know it's an Anker product if it just has wireless, random, high-quality wireless charging capabilities.
And if you just want to hold up your phone without charging it, you can. Just double press the power button at the back of the speaker and it will turn off the wireless charger. But do note it stops charging once the battery of the Ankerwork drops below 50%. And speaking of battery, Ankerwork advertises 16 hours, but those 16 hours will run out pretty quickly after around 2 days of working from home, especially if you also use it as a power bank.
But this isn't just a power bank, it's also a speaker. So it's got capacitive controls to light up in the front, play, pause, volume, mute, answer, hang up, voice assistant, and voice print. We'll get back to that last one a little later. It's a game changer. You also get physical power and pairing buttons at the back, as well as two USB-C ports, one for data and the other for charging. That USB-C data port can be used to connect to phones or laptops directly, but no cable, fret not. This can also connect via Bluetooth. Now, USB Type-C is present, but be warned, there is no UC dongle that you get if you have an ancient laptop that struggles with Bluetooth. It's USB or Bluetooth. So what about taking this thing into the office? Now imagine you're walking from meeting room to meeting room with a laptop in one hand. You're also going to have to lug the speaker and maybe a USB-C cable. And don't know about you, but at office, I ain't got so much hand space or mind space. Also, there's no case. Hey, that rhymed. But Anker doesn't seem to care since they've designed this device to be at home.
And since it's a speakerphone, how does it do on phone calls? Beware of our popsicles, icicles, and tests.
Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. So Karen, did you get the memo and the meeting notes and what are the business words you can use? Phone calls and touch base on the events of the... Yeah, okay. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. So again, send me those status reports on the updates related to those escalations. Thank you. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. How does my voice sound? Karen, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? You're on mute. You're on mute. You're talking. You're on mute. Okay. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey, Jack, you need to send me the memo, the report about the financials and the pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. So return the filing of the circle back to the top of the flywheel. Thank you. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. John, can you email Susan about Jack's emails? Thank you. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, Testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Jack, can you send me the status updates on the daily stand-up of the retrospective? Thank you. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Am I on mute? Are you on mute? Are you all on mute? What are we doing? Okay, bye. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Next, I need the status update of the report about the files which were going to be escalated to the channel. So pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Please send me those reports about the filings on the. So Karen, please send me those updates and mail Steve about touching base with circling back. Thank you. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Please send me the status reports. Again, Karen, please send me the status reports. I need to report the status.
All right, we have our opinion on how they did, but leave a comment on what you thought. And then in terms of Fachmann controls, you can mute and change volume. When you do use either of these controls, like volume or mute, you'll see the LED ring change color. When you change the volume, the blue LED will change in size. And when you go on mute, it'll turn red.
Mute integration with a video conferencing application worked with the macOS Teams app, but not with Teams on Windows, surprisingly. It could be an IT restriction or something else. With the web app of WebEx also, it didn't work. And what we mean here is mute syncing, right? So when you press the mute on the speakerphone, the mute on your software also synchronizes with that. So we're talking about the software hardware synchronization. You mute the device here. You can also see that it's muted on your software. If that does not work, then muting here will not mute on your software, but it will still mute it at the hardware level. So the mute works. It's just about the synchronization. And now I'll stop talking about this. This device is also Zoom certified, but we do not call anyone with Zoom.
All right. Let's touch upon that voice print recognition we alluded to earlier. It's meant to highlight and isolate your voice and thereby cancel out any background noise. It was kind of a pain to set up and it failed many times, but resetting the device did help though. But does it actually do what it advertises? Here, have a listen. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Voice print definitely worked. We heard less of the background noise, and this was crazy. It actually filtered out a real life human standing next to Kevin when I was talking to him on a phone call. Unbelievable. He was literally having a conversation with the person on the other side, and I could only hear his voice. Now, this makes for a great use case if you're with a partner in a small apartment and you're both working from home, let's say. But let's talk about this use case and that of working with kids around, since that's what Anker is advertising it for.
All right, number one, how noisy are your kids and how good is your concentration? Because it's very hard to concentrate if you've got noisy kids in the background, even though the other person on the call may not hear those kids. And number two, how secret are your work calls? Because it is a speakerphone. Everyone around is going to hear what you're talking about. And number three, how available are your daycares? Never mind. All right, the voice print can be turned on or off from the device with one of the capacitive buttons or in the app. But funnily enough, the app doesn't work when you're on a call. So what's the point? You'll have to use the button on the device. And why would you turn it off, you ask? Well, in case you want to take a call with multiple people and don't want their voices to be cancelled out. Okay, before we move to the sound quality, let's test the maximum volume of the Ankerwork compared to the Jabra Speak2 series. Let's go. Okay, in terms of music customizability, there is nothing. Zilch. Nil. There's nothing on the device or the app that you can tweak. The device can be used wired via USB-C cable via the data port, and it worked for us on an iPhone and a laptop, but not on an Android phone, and we tested it with the Galaxy Fold 5. So on such a device where the cable won't work, you're stuck with the Bluetooth connectivity.
Okay, I'm gonna listen to some music now and see how this thing does. Let's get some Daft Punk playing. In terms of sound, this is very much a capable small Bluetooth speaker. You can hear bass, it's very punchy, the mids are nice. The treble is not super extended, but it is more than serviceable for a small space. So I enjoyed this as a Bluetooth speaker. So if that is one of your use cases, you're going to be covered here.
In terms of extra features, you get multi-point on board, which is good for a work from home device, so you can stay connected to your laptop and your phone at the same time. You cannot pull connection though, and there's also no device list in the app. And speaking of the app, you can use it to change things like volume and set up the voice print recognition. But you can also turn off the power and Bluetooth pairing tones if you don't like it, or if you want to turn off the light indicator for phone calls, you can do that too. Or also if you want the backlight on those buttons to turn on only when you press them. And there's also an auto off timer in case you forget to turn it off. It'll turn off if you're not using it. And you can also test the microphone speaker as well as update the firmware. And you can obviously just use the device as a Bluetooth speaker if you want, or a wireless charger, or a cool holder for top-down B-roll shots. Too niche?
So what's the conclusion? At $180 US, this is very similarly priced to the Jabra Speak2 55, which we've covered earlier, which is also the same price. Now, we love the overall design of the Ankerwork, refreshing after all the round and flat disc speakerphones out there. The LED lights are clear with plenty of controls on the device itself, so you may not always need that app. The Qi 2 wireless charging makes for a nice stand as well as a power bank. And I also love the microphone quality. I've had no issues in it working from home or even in a crowded office space where we did a call with 6 people in a room and about 4 people on the other side of that call. And it could pick up voices from pretty far away as well. But the real killer feature here is voice print, which is crazy good. But how it applies to your daily life is pretty much going to determine if this product is worth it for you. And now Kevin will show you his butts.
But there isn't all too much in terms of the app or music customization. The overall cone-shaped design leaves much to be desired in terms of portability, and the battery life is something you will notice deplete quickly. So unless you're truly after a nicely designed speakerphone that can charge and hold your phone, we'd recommend checking out the more portable Jabra Speak2 series, especially the 55 since it's in the same price range. It also comes with a case and a USB-C and A cable built into the device. We made a video of it compared to the Speak2 75 here.
Whoa, not so quickly, Kevin. You said we? Well, I don't completely agree. Okay, sure, if you're just focusing on portability, the Speak2 55 is more portable, but on every other count, I think the Ankerwork wins out. It's got better sound quality, and in my view, better mics, picks up less of the room, and the fact that you have a Qi charging port there, it's kind of a strange addition, but it does add value because I end up charging my phone a lot on this thing while I'm working. So yes, I would choose the Ankerwork over the Jabra Speak2 55. But what would you guys choose? Thank you so much for staying till this part of the video. And if you have stayed this far, you've probably enjoyed the content or you're just maybe asleep. In which case, if you're sleeping, let it play and we get more watch time. But if you're not, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We've noticed that a lot of people who watch our content are not subscribed to us, and maybe you don't even realize it. So hitting that subscribe button will help us out. We're shooting for 100K very soon. It'll be amazing to have that. Thank you, members and patrons, especially you guys who actually pay us money. Thank you so much for your financial support. It really helps us buy stuff and be independent and not bother about what the company wants us to say or not. So thank you to you guys, and a special thanks to our Fakman tier supporters. Paula, Gamma Panda, and Hunter, you guys are amazing.
You've been anchored to your work.
And we've been DHRME.
Dewey. Beware of our popsicles, icicles, and testing of work from home devices. As we do. Anker's newest speakerphone.
Fret not, this thing can also connect via USB Type-C. Well, so we're talking about the software-hardware synchronization.
Especially the 55 since it's in the